Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So, quick life update. I was definitely supposed to do like 2 more videos in the past week. It was supposed to be like 2 vlogs, basically like a come shop with me for Founders Day and then like a Founders Day vlog, but then Founders Day just like went like that. And so I was just everywhere. I wasn't prepared. So, sorry, human. But I did decide to do a chit-chat, get ready with me about all things Greek life. Well, it pertains to me and my experience with Greek life and any advice I would want to give to anyone who is interested and just any and everything I can think of. I don't know how much of it I'm going to have to edit out because I'm really just going to be talking and doing my makeup. And, I might just start rambling. And when I ramble, things just come out. So, some stuff might be edited out. But I'm going to keep the important stuff that people should know. So, let's get started. So, before we get started, obviously this is also do my makeup. And so I'm not a makeup artist. I do what works for me and my face. I can tell you what products I use. I mean, they're just typical products. I don't use anything fancy. So I'm just going to it's more me talking to you than me doing my makeup. But I like to put on primer because I have none. My primer is actually almost gone, but what else? And so, where should I start? This is gonna be great. Okay. Why not? So, I was initiated into Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, obviously, on November 12th, 2017, so fall 17. And it's January 2019. So I had my first Akaversary, of course, last November. And then my second Founders Day was this past Tuesday. And it's definitely been life-changing year and some change. And in a good way. Definitely a good way. It's definitely something that I will try to explain, but it's one of those things of you don't really know. Okay, I give up. You don't really know until you're in it. So, yeah, I was initiated in November, and it was like a complete not 360, 180 of life. I guess I can start with why I wanted to become an AKA. So basically, I have always been surrounded by AKAs like my entire life. As far as like influential people, like super duper influential people in my life, because I have influential people in my life who are a part of every D9 organization. So that's kind of what made me start noticing D9 orgs and paying closer attention. But the people who actually like have impacted each chapter of my life were AKAs. So it was just like the people who would mentor me, or the people who I would gravitate towards, or the people who would kind of help shape me and mold me were all AKAs. And so I was able to know firsthand like what it means to be an alpha woman. And so that was a really big impact in my life before I even got to college. And then I get to college, the chapter that is on my campus, which is now the chapter I'm a part of, which is crazy to even say because it still feels like a dream sometimes. They were very, very involved. Like, I would literally always see my now prophytes all the time around, involved in different things on campus, always making sure they had a positive presence on campus. And one of the first people who kind of took me under her wing is my now prophyte. And so, again, like, I got to be closer to it and see, like, it more up close by her, like, being with me all the time. And because we were in the same, like, organization that I had joined freshman year. Wow, this is gonna be really hard for me to focus. I'm gonna try my hardest. But she was the president of an organization that I was a part of freshman year, and that I would literally, it was a dance ensemble. It's called Dance Ensemble. And so we were together 24/7. Like, literally 24/7. My freshman and sophomore year, those are like the people I was always around, because we always had performances, we always had practices, we were always doing something on campus, and so we were always together. Like, I know I'm emphasizing always, but I really mean always. And so I was always with her, and just by, like, common interests and us always being together, I kind of gravitated towards her, and it just kind of happened naturally. And so, again, I was able to really be guided and mentored by an alpha woman. And then as time progressed, my next mentor from another organization that I love near and dear to my heart, her campus, also is my now prophyte. And but the thing about that, she was initiated in fall 15, and I had already knew her. I met her spring 15, but we had already started building our relationship and growing, and then she was initiated, and then, like, our relationship, like, Ashley, my prophyte, literally like this. Love that girl so much. It was never a case where I felt like I was being neglected, because yes, they had so many responsibilities, but they still made sure that, like, if I needed to talk to them, they would still make themselves available, and they would still anything I needed, because college is a whole mess. So anything I needed, they made sure that they could take the time. Like, they took the time out to help me and talk to me. And so it felt really good to know that I had somebody older to depend on. And I can still depend on them, because now we are closer because of AKA. And I know, like, if I ever needed either of them, I could call them and they would be there for me. And that is an amazing feeling. And that's, like, what solidified me wanting to be an AKA, and just knowing that they had a positive college presence. They were very, very active, and I was super active, like, oh my gosh, super active on campus. And then they were so nurturing, and it was just like, I need this in my life. It was definitely going to college and seeing the chapter, like, in action solidify things. My sister is also a huge part of why I wanted to be AKA, because she was initiated in spring 14 at Valdosta, and that was the first, like, probate I had ever went to. Like, when I went in spring 14, because I was still in high school, and so when I went, I was just like, what is this? Like, what is all this? Like, my mom said we had to get balloons and all that, and these gifts that were so expensive. Side note, Nelia, so expensive. But, and all this. And I was like, okay, this is cute. This is cool. And then I went to her luncheon after she was initiated. It's before her probate, but after she's like initiated, we went to her luncheon, and I got to like see her in all her white, and I saw her with her sisters, and then like came in singing one of our songs, and it was just so like, it just felt different. Like, it feels different when you're like surrounded by something so special and genuine and pure. I mean, at her luncheon, I was still like, I don't know what is going on. Like, what is this? And then I went to her probate, and it was amazing. I feel like probates and like yard shows, that's what be getting some of y'all. But it was really just so great to share that moment with my sister and see her. Because my sister is not like, she's dramatic, but it's just like seeing her after all this time get to this point and become basically this new, better version of herself. It was so like amazing. And she is literally like top tier alpha. Like, when I think of alpha woman, I automatically think of my sister. Like, no flex. Like, she literally is the alpha woman to me. When I think of alpha woman, I just think of my big sister. And so she would always be in the back of my mind, because just seeing her grow as she continued through through her chapter, she became chapter president. Like, just seeing how she handled business, and seeing how she grew with her sisters, it was really just like, wow. Because seeing it from like my now prophytes when they were in school, like, it's different because you're still on the outside looking in. I was a little bit closer to it because it was my blood sister, so I was able to like see more of the sisterhood part of it, because she was more open to like talking about her sisters with me and stuff. And so I was able to see the sisterhood part from my sister, and then like the business and involvement and service part from my prophytes before I was initiated. And so it was just all in, like, it was always surrounding me. Okay, it was always surrounding me. And I am a firm believer of what God has for you will, like, it will happen regardless. Because, like I said, I was initiated in 2017, but there was a line in that Ashley was initiated to in 2015. And in 2015, I was a sophomore, and I just did the Black and Gold pageant, and I know I was not ready. I was not mentally there. Like, I was not emotionally there. I was just not there. I would have not been the same person. Like, I don't know what kind of person I would have been, but it's not the same person. And I'm blessed because having Ashley, like, as a prophyte is amazing. So, there's that. The reasons I wanted to join was really a lot about the people who God had placed in my life. And that's why I feel like God wanted me to join this sorority, this particular sorority, because he literally was just like throwing AKAs in my life left and right, because he wanted me to see that, he wanted me to see myself in them. And he wanted me to see that this is the standard that you are to reach in your life to get to the place I want you to be. And what I want you to do in your life, you will be able to do through this organization. And that is literally what I'm living right now. It just feels different when you're like really like sitting in it and you're just like, wow. It's really like, I really get to share this moment with hundreds of women who share the same passion of service and sisterhood and excellence. And it's just like, yes, this is it. This is what I want for the rest of my life. Just, I feel like it's been a very different year. And so after I was initiated, my life sped up. Like it took off. Like, they tell you that the work begins once, like, after your probate, the work really, really, really begins. They did not lie. They did not lie at all. It was a very trying semester, but not, like, in a horrible way. It was just, I learned a lot more about myself. Like, a lot more about myself, because I had to really see if I was really about this life. Like, you don't really know if you're about that life until you are having to balance programs and planning for the programs. I'm not just going to them, but you're planning the programs. You're going to practices for step shows. Like, you're going to stroke practices. Like, you're doing community service, like, all the time. And then on top of that, I was taking 18 credit hours because I was dumb. Like, I don't know who told me to do that, but it was really, really, really trying. But it was a semester I will never forget, because there's just so many firsts for me. I like to put setting spray as I go, especially for my eyebrows. It was a lot of firsts for me. Like, I had my first charter day, first founders day. Like, I did my first step show. Like, I remember seeing my prophytes in 2016 do the step show and win the step show. We won the step show. I remember we did our first stroll off, and my prophytes won that stroll off in 2016. We won that stroll off. Seeing my prophyte Jody Ann win Dancing with the Greeks. We won that too. Like, it makes you proud, going to SARC and winning awards there, like, doing community service, like, almost every week, like, every 2 weeks. Like, it was so fulfilling. But with that, I learned a lot. What I've learned being Greek is that you have to be able to take control of your life. Like, you have to. But Greek life is a bubble. It's a very big bubble, but it's also very, very small. It's very easy to get caught up. Like, very, very easy to get caught up and stuck in that bubble. And if you don't know how to take control of your life or set boundaries, you will be stuck in that bubble, and it'll be harder and harder to get out of the bubble. Thing about me, when I get involved, like, when I get invested in something, I promise you, that's literally the only thing I am able to think about or talk about or be about. And because AKA was something I wanted for so long, of course, I am going to take every single opportunity I can to be up and around anything pertaining to Greek life. Not because I really cared about Greek life, but because I wanted to just experience my being a neo. So now that it had finally, like, happened with me, of course I wanted to do every single thing, like, be around every single thing. The only thing I didn't really care to do is go to parties. I still don't like parties. I especially wanted to be around my line sisters, like, all the time. I wanted to talk to them all the time. Like, they wanted to go out to eat. My provides wanted to go out to eat. We were going out to eat. They wanted to go hang out for no reason. We were all going to go hang out. Like, it was all, like, it was what it honestly should have been. Like, of course, I should have had that feeling like I should be happy and proud and excited to be with them 24/7. Like, it, of course, that's going to happen. Like, it's a thing. And I will never want to take that away. But the issue is that I didn't set boundaries. And it wasn't for anybody. It wasn't like for them. It was for me. Like, I didn't set my boundaries to say, okay, I went out and I hung out with them for like 4 out of the 7 days a week. I can chill. And I will, like, in a, like, having a transparent moment, I know that was a really, really big part about why my boyfriend, well, my ex-boyfriend, and our relationship started to fall off and fail, because I had put so much into my sisters and my chapter. And I mean, I don't regret the work I put in, because it paid off. But I do regret not being able to acknowledge when I was putting so much into them that I was taking away from him. Dating someone who's not Greek while you're Greek, and who's also not in school, it's not because he doesn't value education. He graduated. So there's that. But who's also not in school and not Greek. So, you know, they really like the whole undergrad Greek life, because it is so much different than the like graduate Greek life. It's just like it's kind of just like, okay, I understand why you're doing this, and I understand it's very important to you, but so is our relationship, and our relationship is here first. And so finding that balance, and then with friends who are also not Greek, it's like, it's a shift, because I also at one point lost a friend who I am, thankfully, we are back and we're better. But through my year, I lost sight of that, because I was so focused on my line sisters and so focused on my pro fights. And yes, those relationships are still very, very important to me, but these friends that I had before, they were here before. I shouldn't have neglected them as well. And this is what I learned. And even talking to my pro fights, because when I always had an issue, I would always run to them about like balancing life, and they will always tell me that I have to like set those boundaries, and it's a lot easier to say than to do. And you know, they kind of went through it already, because they had already hit 2 years, and so they was true to this. So they've been there, done that. So I feel like it was a lot easier for them to say it, but it was still appreciated, because they still knew exactly like what I was going through. Like, I really wish I was able to separate, like actually setting those boundaries, and I was able to kind of navigate a lot better and not get so invested, even though it is impossible. Like, it is almost impossible. Like, people who can easily separate it during their first year, y'all are a different kind, because I honestly think it's inevitable. But I'm telling you right now, if you're ever so blessed to join any organization, you have to have that. You have to have somebody who can pull you out. If you don't have somebody like on the outside to be like, hey girl, I haven't seen you in like 6 months, or like, we haven't talked in like 2 weeks, like, where you at? Let's go somewhere. Like, no, like, and hold you accountable for when you say, like, not changing plans for just to hang out with like your sister or any of that. Like, you need somebody on the outside. That somebody for me was my ex. He like, it wasn't a pull, he like yanked me, and over time it got a lot better. Definitely once I graduated, it was like a whole different thing. So yeah, that's like the biggest thing that I've learned in just this short time. And I believe I've gotten so much better, like, because now that I'm working full time and now that I am trying to like do a lot with like Elysian and Asobite, it's kind of like I have to like have the ultimate time management. Like, if you do not have time management, you are not going to survive. To set those boundaries with your sisters, set those boundaries with anybody, any other Greek that you meet. Like, set those boundaries. Like, you do not need to be at every single party. Always understand that you are a college student first, and you have to graduate. You literally have to graduate. Once you're initiated, and if you pay your dues, it's gonna be there when you graduate. Like, if you keep paying your dues, you're going to still have those letters once you graduate, but that degree costs a lot more than your yearly dues. Just understand that. Like, tuition costs a lot more, so if you keep extending your graduation to be on campus, or because you're not doing what you need to do, come on, like, do better. Like, it's definitely like great parts about it. Like, I don't know, there are so many great things about being in this organization, like, specifically like being Greek. It's great, it's fun, it's cool. It's also very great because I feel like every like Greek organization, we have like an understanding, like, it is an understanding of excellence, and we expect excellence out of each other, and we don't really, there's nothing less than that. Like, it's fulfilling being Black and having those people around you regardless of what organization they're in, and just knowing that it is rooted in excellence, rooted in being the best, the smartest, the most ambitious, the ones that, the go-getters. At the end of the day, we are all about service and bettering the community and the world around us. Like, no matter the colors, no matter the strolls, no matter the chants, service and scholarship, like, excellence, straight excellence. And so if you're watching this and you don't want to be an AKA, it's cool. It don't hurt me. It don't take away my letters. So, but if you are trying to figure out what org is like right for you, and I feel like you have to find, like, really truly find that connection. Like, okay, don't, Jesus, like, us strolling and stuff, like, it's fun, it is entertaining, it is for your entertainment purposes, yes, and it is for us to have fun, like, but that shouldn't be your only, like, knowledge and interaction with us, is seeing us, like, in Plaza, well, for us in Plaza, or at Greek shows, or at Pro Base. Like, should also be seeing us at service, or not at service, but, like, doing community service and, like, the programs we host. Like, go to the programs. Don't go to everybody's program. And so, research. See, like, what you identify with. Yes, we have the underlying of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. Yes, all of the sororities do, but, see, like, what they've done in the past and who you align with, because that's how you're really going to figure it out. And then from there, see, like, what they're doing on campus, because yes, you are joining a national, international organization, like, you are joining that, but you are also joining a specific chapter, and that chapter will have a huge influence on you, regardless of if you go to a grad chapter afterwards. Like, that chapter, the undergrad chapter you are initiated with, will have a huge influence on you. And so you need to see, like, their presence on campus, what they bring to campus, like, what they're involved with. If you see them around doing good things, or if you see them always in, like, some drama, or always in mess, if you only see them at parties but not, like, in, like, SGA or anything, like, you need to be able to also see them on campus, because those will be maybe if you're ever so blessed, pro-fights. And so you want to be able to see, like I said, see yourself in them and see who you want to be in them. There we go. Do your research, go to events, and just see what you're feeling like. See, because you'll feel it. The organization for you, you will feel it. Like, and then when things start to align, like it's just like with anything else that God wants for you, you will feel it in your spirit when you know something is meant for you. And so that's how it was with me. In the end, the most important part is while you are trying to figure this out, practice discretion. Please. Favorite things. Ooh, so much. My favorite thing about AKA is that, yes, we have a lot of traditions. Yes. Those traditions, a lot of them will not change, and I don't want them to, because I feel like that, I know that is the foundation of our organization. I never want them to change, but what I really appreciate is that AKA is ever evolving, and they are welcome to the changing times. Like right now, we just got a new international president. I look crazy. A new international president, and so our targets change. And so we now have a target that focuses on Black entrepreneurship, and as a Black entrepreneur, that is literally like my heart and soul. It's growth on both ends. Like I can feel like as I'm growing, AKA will always grow with me, and that is such a great feeling. Also knowing like you will always have somebody in your corner no matter what. Like when AKAs are around, like they are literally the networking. It's like networking heaven, to be completely honest. Like if you need a job, if you need somewhere to stay out of state, like we know everyone everywhere from different campuses, different chapters. Like we know everyone from everywhere, and so you are never alone. I'm really big on community, and I'm really big on like being a collective, and so it's a wonderful feeling. Like I keep saying everything's a wonderful feeling, but it really is. Having the opportunity, like the daily opportunity to just give back in the world and serve in like small and big ways. Community service finds you at this point, and you are able to serve in different ways. Like you're not just, like I know I said in my first video, like you're not always feeding the homeless, and you're not always reading to kids. Like we have so many service opportunities where you're serving with like your skills and talents, and you're making your community better. And that is so big to me. And so an AKA gives me the opportunity to do that all the time. This wouldn't be real if I didn't say like strolling and stepping aren't like fun. Like they are fun. Like that's the stuff you see all the time. It's fun. Like, and because of me, because I have been a performer for so long, and it's literally like performing, it is like so much fun. Like I love strolling. I love strolling. Which is probably why I'm a stroll master. But huge part is my sisters and my pro-fights. Like, because like I said, they play a big part. Like they're literally just like in your life now. And it's like, because I only have one sister, and I saw her with her sisters. So my sister had sisters, and so I always felt like, oh, my sisters just keep taking my big sister away from me, this and that. So God was just like, okay, so we're going to give you sisters and pro-fights, and yeah, then you're going to stop complaining. And it's just so amazing, because it's like you're given so many different personalities. You learn so much empathy. It is crazy. And you learn how to really truly be there for a person, like, unconditionally. They're not like your blood. So it's like you learn a whole new level of unconditional love because they're literally like placed in your life and you literally grow with them. It's a shift because you have to deal with different things that you never knew how you would react until you put in that position. And it's different because at the end of the day, you are growing with these people and you love them as much as you want to fight them. Sometimes you love them and you want them to be blessed and you want them to be better, and so you have to hold them accountable. I treat them like I would treat my actual sister. And so if my sister, like my blood sister, is doing something that ain't it, I'm gonna hold her accountable just like I'm gonna hold my line sister accountable just like I will hold her. And like with my profiles, I look at them like I look at Alexis. So the expectation I have for my big sister, like my blood sister, I know that my profiles can deliver that guidance. And the blessing on top of that, with having so many profiles, like if I need like a specific route of guidance, I have options. Like it's not heavy like on one specific profile. Like if I have to talk to somebody who I know went through something that I went through, I can go to her. Or if there's someone who I need like a specific career like advice from, I can go to her. And blessings, like nothing but blessing. It's very different because I only have my one sister, and so I now have several, and I just am able to become a better me through them and also pour into them and help them become better them. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't trade any of my experiences with my line sisters or my profiles or the chapter, anything for the world. Like it has definitely made me who I am today, and it's definitely taught me a lot. I know I just say you can't separate Greek life and your personal life, but I really hate when people just see Greek, like they have like these Greek lenses and they treat you like accordingly. And that goes into like all the negative stuff that people say about like any Greek organization. It's just like, why? Like just because I'm Greek, like you need to still take the time to get to know me as Taylor Johnson before you try to just call me Taylor the AKA and then write me off. And so I don't, and there's a lot of people I've met that as soon as they see like my lanyard, or as soon as they see like, or as soon as I say like line sister and they're like, oh, what or you in and stuff, it's like shift. Like they'll start treating me differently, or they'll start saying little slick stuff, and I'm just like, you are so dense. Like it's strange to me, and I just it's just like my biggest pet peeve. Like I will instantly get turned off. The stereotypes of AKAs, I don't even know what the stereotypes of AKAs are anymore. Because I don't pay attention to negativity in Greek life because I think it's stupid. I honestly think Greek shenanigans needs to be like shut down, and the fact that people still like follow it, and still the ones that entertain it, the ones that submit stuff, like y'all are a part of the problem. Like it doesn't start healthy conversation, it just starts trolls and people in the comments, and you're letting people who aren't Greek, yes, Greek shenanigans is private, but screenshots are public. Like you're letting people who are not Greek inside of, like letting them inside the bubble basically, and then y'all get mad when be the main one saying there's no discretion. Like I'm confused. I am so confused. But I will say it's kind of refreshing because I actually was with my friend she works at a Greek store. This Kappa came in because he was just ordering some Nelia, and so he noticed I had like an AKA hoodie on, and he said, "It's so nice to see like you." And I was so confused, but then he was like, it's so nice to see AKAs like you. And like I said, he's old, like he's an old head, and so I was confused at first, but then he was like, there was a picture in the back of an AKA, and she was lighter skin, and she had like curly long hair, and she was like, that right there, and he pointed to, he's like, that right there, that's literally all, like, that is what people always think about when they think about AKA. And so to come and see you with your short hair and your darker skin, it's great. Like, it's really refreshing. And I honestly never really thought about it. One thing I did think about was my hair. I cut my hair because it was damaged, and why it was damaged is because I was straightening it a lot. Why I was straightening it, because that's kind of when I was not giving into stereotypes, but I kind of felt like I needed to look a certain way to once I crossed, I needed to look a certain way, and that was like straight hair so it could move, and I figured 8 and this, and then the third, and so I was straightening it, and then I damaged it. So I the curls, I mean, it would still curl, but it wasn't like, I know my curls, they were like loose and stringy, and they wouldn't like curl up, and I knew they were damaged. People will always say, your hair wasn't damaged. I'm like, I know my hair was damaged, and so I cut it off. I chopped it off. And then that's when I was just like, because I was just like, oh, I'm going to chop it off after Founders Day because I want to do this in third, or after AGP because, you know, I want to be able to like figure it. And I was like, why? I was literally just like, why did I feel like that was what I needed to do when it didn't make any sense? Because I just kind of felt like I had to have like the straight hair or the weave and to do all that. I was just like, no, that's not who I am. Like, I just didn't feel like it was important. It doesn't define me as an alpha woman at all. Like, it has nothing to do with my service. It has nothing to do with my scholarship. It has nothing to do with the legacy I want to leave as an alpha woman. So I was just like, I am dumb. Like, I am dumb. Like, why am I keeping my hair just so I can look a certain way? And so when he said that, it was just like, wow, you know, it makes a lot of sense on how I was feeling. Like, it was really a moment that I had to really stop and think to myself and be like, why is this affecting me in how I feel about myself and how I feel about myself as an alpha woman? I had to really stop and think, and was like, this is not a part of the legacy I want to leave. This has nothing to do with what I want to do within my organization, so it gotta go. Like, it's a distraction, it gotta go. It's not helping me focus, it gotta go. Because just like I have goals with Asobate and Allegiant 31, I have goals for AKA too, like where I'm trying to go next year, well, this year, like as I'm transitioning into a grad chapter, like where I want it to take me. Like, I have a specific goal in my head that I want, and so I am currently working to achieve it. And there's that. Like, actually I have 2 huge goals that I want to accomplish within my organization, and so all that other mess gotta go. That's also why I don't go to parties. And parties aren't bad. Like, they aren't. Like, you can go to parties, but one, I graduated, so why? And 2, it's just like for me, it's just not where I identify with right now as someone who is Greek. And so I had to remove that. So I just don't go to parties, which is crazy because I'm the stroll master. So it's kind of just like, girl. But I do, when it comes to handling the business of it, it gets handled. So, hey, still the right person for the job. But it's just not, as far as 2019, like, it's just not anything I want to focus on. It's not my focus. I would definitely say it's helped me be a better businesswoman and know how to handle business and separate, the biggest thing, separating business from personal, because you're doing business with your sisters. And so that line can get blurred very, very quickly. Very quickly, because they can feel some type of way about something that has to do with the chapter, like chapter business. I'm just like, and at the end of the day, you have to get it done. You have to do what's best for the chapter when it comes to business. And then y'all can talk about your sisterly relationship once the business is done. And I have never really been able, because I never want to hurt people's feelings. Like, I've always been that type of person. So being able to know, like, set that boundary of separating business from pleasure, been popping. Because it is important in your everyday life too. Like, that's very, very important, is having that separation. And my sister does it very, very well. Like, very, very, very well. She's real cutthroat with it. And before I was Greek, I did not understand. I was like, girl, why are you treating me like one of these girls? I'm not your line sister. I'm your blood sister. But now that I'm in it, and now that I have line sisters of my own, I completely understand where she came from. Tips for someone who is interested. First and foremost, you need to know who you are as a person. Because if you do not know who you are as a person, you can go through this whole thing and come out and you be lost and you be shook, and then you be on YouTube talking about you did not send your letters. So you need to know who you are as a person going in. And you need to, just like you set goals in your everyday life, set goals as to where you want to see yourself if you are blessed to join this organization. Because you have to always keep that in the back of your mind, because if not, you will go left, and you will keep going left, and you will just end up in circles, and you will not be going forward. And so you need to set goals for yourself. I mean, your first goal is getting in the org, but like, your end goal should never just be being initiated in the organization. That should never just be your end goal, because then you're going to be susceptible to just whatever comes your way, and you're not going to know how to navigate through it. Also, knowing who you are as a person, you know for what you stand for and what you don't stand for, and that's that. And it'll also help you connect, because you won't have to feel like you're putting on a facade to make people like you. You will be able to connect to people a lot more if you are just yourself. If you're faking it, we will see right through it, and we will know that. You think you're putting on a show, you're not. We know. Do your research. 1, practice discussion. 2, go to events, because it's just like, how are we gonna get to know you if you're not at events? Like, that's where it's literally, you get everybody at an event. Go to events, and also you'll be able to see as up close and personal, and not just in plaza. But most importantly, you're a student first. And if your GPA ain't it, I can't help you. So that is it. This is my finished makeup look. That is the end of this chat. I know it's probably so long. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I hope anyone can get something out of this, and they got a more personal, like, talk about what it is, because it's so different on the inside than on the outside looking in. And so tune in to our next video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at @toldbytay, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.